Ever get the feeling you've been cheated?
You've been in a coma, Johnny.
The house is burning.
You're the talk of the town.
Because I got my head bashed in and I'm still here to talk about it.
Because you have the power of second sight.
I don't know whether it's true or not, these psychic powers of yours. No, I'm at my wit's end, John. I could use your help. It has to do with these murders we've been having. The Castle Rock killer.
I saw his face.
1983's The Dead Zone is the story of a schoolteacher, Johnny Smith, played by Christopher Walken. After an horrific car crash, he awakens from a 5-year coma to discover he has psychic ability. Is it a gift or a curse? Johnny must come to terms with his powers. The very destiny of mankind may depend on The Dead Zone. Directed by David Cronenberg, a Canadian filmmaker and screenwriter, Cronenberg was one of the principal originators of what was commonly known as the body horror genre, making some truly shocking horror movies like Shivers, Rabid and The Brood. He's most famous for The Fly, but for me, his best and most accessible film was the underappreciated Dead Zone. I can highly recommend Eastern Promises and The History of Violence, and if you're interested in great but weird movies, check out Videodrome and The Naked Lunch. The exceptional screenplay was written by Jeffrey Boam. It was based on the Stephen King book, and whatever I may feel about Stephen King as a person, there's no denying his ability to write a great story. I count The Dead Zone as one of his best film adaptations of the books, along with Carrie. You can't count The Shining due to Stanley Kubrick's unique and very different interpretation. Christopher Walken is best known for The Deer Hunter, but for me his two best performances were The Dogs of War and The Dead Zone. Modern audiences would probably know him best for his cameo in Pulp Fiction. Walken is perfect in the role of the psychic schoolteacher. His unique looks, voice and screen presence are the perfect fit. He has the perfect combination of a warm charm mixed with cold intensity. Very few actors could have pulled off this combination. As a rule, you need 3 great elements to make a classic movie. With The Dead Zone, you have Cronenberg, King and Walken. Few movies can boast 4, but when you throw in Michael Kamen to the mix, who scored the film, the chances of greatness have radically increased. His score for The Dead Zone was the first piece of work which showed his potential to be one of the all-time great film composers. He later went on to score, amongst other things, Die Hard and Band of Brothers. The Dead Zone is an almost perfect movie, well directed, acted, and with a story so compelling and compacted to the point of being a diamond. Every element of this film is of the highest standard. Walken may be the star, but the quality of the supporting cast is strong across the board. It seems unfair to single anyone out. But if you had to pick out one, it would have to be a very intense performance from Martin Sheen, who plays the sort of president he probably would have been in real life, rather than the idealised Democrat wet dream that he played in The West Wing. So much happens in the very short 1 hour 40-minute runtime, you would think the film would feel rushed or hard to follow. The fact is, they knew how to make well-constructed films without overly indulgent and unnecessary side stories, and is one of the reasons so many 80s movies hold up so well. The film is so chock full of classic scenes, I can't even make up my mind which of the 3 main psychic events of the film I like best: the Castle Rock killer, the tragic ice hockey match, or World Armageddon. Each one is a classic movie in its own right. The Dead Zone is a masterclass in movie making. Modern Hollywood would do well to relearn the lessons from its not-so-distant past. It would be impossible to make a good modern version of this movie, until we've moved past the identity politics-driven PC-obsessed culture that so dominates Hollywood. But as Johnny said, some things are worth waiting for. On the Manly Meter, Johnny Smith gets a 5, a man who loses everything, including the woman he loves, but still doesn't lose hope. The strength of will to do what he thinks is right, no matter the cost. Nothing is more manly than that.
This is not necessary, Mr. President. We have a diplomatic solution.
Mr. Vice President, Mr. Secretary, the missiles are flying. Hallelujah.